time. Is it 5:30, Amanda?
It's 5:30, Mayor.
All right. Well, this time I'd like to call on Commissioner Richard Uribe to lead us in an invocation, please.
Loving Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we gather today. We pray for your guidance in matters at hand, and ask that you clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in your work. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you for everyone participating in this Zoom meeting, and for those who are watching the live stream, we're glad to have you join us. Amanda, is there any citizen communication?
Only one, Mayor. Her name is Don Ray Leonard, and he wants to. The address is 4039 North Minnesota Street, and the topic is let me see, sir. Negative comments, negative campaign in Harlingen. So I will call her right now.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor. Hello, Mrs. Leonard. This is Amanda Elizondo with the city of Harlingen, and you submitted.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, ma'am, you have 2 minutes. And let me set the clock. One moment, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, you may start now.
Well, this is Leonard. This is Amanda Elizondo with the city of Harlingen, and you submitted. Yes. Okay, ma'am, you have 2 minutes, and let me set the clock. One moment, I'll let you know. Okay.
You may start now.
You may start now. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Don Ray Leonard.
Can I try?
Hello?
Ms. Leonard, can I call you back? I don't know why the phone is acting this way. One more, I'm gonna call you back.
Yes. Please leave your message for Dawn Seeley Leonard. Hello again. Please leave your message. Dawn Seeley Leonard.
Ms.
I'm
Leonard,
here.
let me call her from my phone. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you may, let me set the clock again. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. But let me, I'm gonna call you from another phone. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, it stirs.
Amanda, may I suggest if you just ask her to mute her her computer, because that's what you're hearing the feedback
Okay.
on.
Okay, I'm trying to do so many things, so, hold on. You know what it is? It probably, my speaker. I'm gonna mute myself and I'm gonna call her. I don't know what's going on.
Amanda, if you mute yourself, I don't think we're going to be able to hear her.
She can't hear you now.
You just have to have her mute her computer, but don't mute yours, Amanda.
Okay, Amanda, you're on mute, so we can't, if you need to unmute your line, please. Amanda, you need to unmute your line.
Type of examples does that set for citizens of the city and the young people learning about government? A couple nights ago, I attended a meeting of conservatives like myself who invited a sitting city commissioner to speak. Twice he attacked his opponent with personal accusations that I will not repeat. One half of the room got up and walked out. His words were disturbing and what I consider to be conduct unbecoming of an elected official. Mr. Mesmar, I guarantee that display of negative campaigning cost you precious votes. The voters only want to hear how you will make their lives better. They do not want to hear disgusting, offensive attacks and name calling. I personally demand respect and outstanding leadership qualities of my elected officials, ones with strong morals and values who live by the golden rule, ones who do not defile their adversaries with vicious personal attacks, but work to find common ground with them. I realize politics is a rough sport, but this is our community, and I expect my elected officials to act responsibly and show respect to all people, even during the election season. In the future, let's not speak of our opponents with malice, but with dignity and decorum. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay, is that that was the only citizen communication?
Is that it, Mayor? No more.
All right, well, then we'll go on to, we'll call the meeting to order and go to item 1, which is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of March 17th, 2021. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'd like to motion for an approval.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Aye.
like sign. The motion carries. All right, consent agenda, item 2B. I think we're going to pull 2A
Motion
from
to
the
approve.
consent agenda, and we'll go to item 2B. There's a motion to adopt 2B on consent.
Yes,
Second.
sir. Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Davey, seconded by Commissioner De La Rosa. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, like sign. So we got to go to item 2A, second and final reading to approve an ordinance adopting budget amendment number 2 for fiscal year 2020-2021. Robert?
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commissioners. Yes, this is a budget amendment number 2, second reading. For the general fund, expenditures increased by $3,295,509. 5 of the items remain the same. We had 2 additional items. We still have the platform truck for the fire department, $1.5 million, $571,000 for 10 police department vehicles. Security system and access control of $251,000 for the police department. reimbursement to EDC of $500,000 for the health program, and the multimodal for $200,000. The two additional items on this version, the second reading, is the $45,000 for a spin grinder at the parks and $228,000 for roof at the library. So for grant awards, those did not change. There's $65,000, $140,000 in revenues and expenditures equally. Staff recommends approval of this budget amendment number 2.
Hey, Robert, just a real quick note on the reimbursement to the EDC. It was contingent upon the rest reimbursing for the ones that were granted, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's going to be in the 380 agreement. Matter of fact, that's already in the 380 agreement as approved by the City Commission.
Okay, thank you. Motion for an approval.
Robert, before we move, can you just explain to us?
Can we get a second, Commissioner, so we can have the discussion?
I'll make the second. I just want to know what the spin grinder is.
That's to.
I can answer that,
Okay.
Robert. So we bought the specialized mowers for the greens at the golf course. Those have specialized blades that need a specialized piece of equipment to sharpen them. And typically what we have to do is ship them off to, I believe, Corpus Christi. So there is no one here locally that has it. So we're going to go ahead and get one of our own.
I was hoping you were going to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Commissioner.
Is there any other discussion? Then all those in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 3 is a presentation by the Finance Director and discussion about the new American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So as most of you know, there is the new American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 that was approved by legislation in March. So the new funding, they've extended the deadline for the spending of the new funding through December 31st, 2024. And the timing of receiving the funds, the city or all cities should receive the first tranche of funding, or 50% of that funding. So our allocation, our new allocation is $22,125,517, which we will be distributed in 2 tranches. The first tranche is 50% of that 22 million, and we should receive that within 60 days of the approval, which was in March. So we're expecting our first payment in May 11th, 2021, which would total about $11,062,000. The second tranche of funding should come a year subsequent to the first set of funds, which will be approximately May 11th, 2022. So on April 14, 2021, the U.S. Department of Treasury announced that they were going to establish the Office of Recovery Programs, and this department is going to be in charge of oversight of the spending and the reimbursement. So the guidance on the spending, or what we can spend the money on, is still coming in. It's still a little bit vague, but these are 4 points of where you can actually spend the money. So eligible uses are for to respond for the public health emergency with respect to the coronavirus disease of 2019 and its negative impacts, economic impacts, which could also include losses of the city when you compare 2020 to 2019. It could be for assistance to households, small businesses, nonprofits, aid to impacted industries such as tourism, travel, and hospitality. On B, to respond to workers performing essential work during the COVID-19 public health emergency by providing eligible workers of the state, territory, and tribal local government, and essential workers would be identified by the city manager. He would identify which employees would be essential. So that would go to employees. And the third one would be the provision of the government services to extend the extent of the reduction of revenues of state, territorial, ours would be municipal, and for public health emergency relative to revenues collected in the most recent full fiscal year. So this is where you can compare losses of 2020 compared to 2019. And we can use some of those funds to replenish our lost revenues. And then the fourth one is to make necessary investments in water, sewer, broadband infrastructure, and this also includes drainage. And so those are the 4 items that you can invest in. And so basically, we expect more guidance on how the funds can be spent. Similar to the coronavirus, as we went along, when we received the money, we got additional guidance and questions and answers to see what you can spend the money and what you cannot spend the money on. So we expect similar guidance to come out as the money comes to the cities. So that's just a brief overview.
Mayor, Commissioners, we are working on a plan to provide options to the City Council on how to utilize the funds. We expect to be able to present that plan at a special meeting next week or the week after. We're going to focus on broadband infrastructure. We're going to focus on infrastructure related to water, and water is included with potable water and stormwater, also wastewater, and of course revenue losses compared to 2019. So we will present those options to the City Council and go from there. We only have until 2024 to utilize the funds. So any infrastructure projects we undertake will have to be completed and the funds expended by that time frame. So we will present the plan hopefully in the next week or two.
All right. Does anybody have any questions or like to make a sort of a comment at this point? Any guidance for the staff?
It's a big plate.
Well, it's obviously a big. I think it's like Christmas in a sense, in that this money was unexpected, and obviously there are lots of needs. And we'll have to decide on what the most pressing need or priorities are. Certainly a lot of opportunities to put the money to good use with regard to infrastructure, water and wastewater drainage, and those kinds of things. We'll just have to look at it and see what everybody feels comfortable with using the money for. But that's what we do every year, and so we ought to be able to do that with this additional funding. So,
Dan, is Waterworks going to have any type of matching to this?
I am waiting on a priority list from Tim of water and wastewater infrastructure improvement projects. That will be part of our presentation as well.
Right, but what I'm saying is this money here is included for them also. It's not like they're going to get a separate.
No, this is the entire sum of money.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'm concerned about, and that is, everybody got money. The county got money. Other municipalities got money, and there's already difficulty in obtaining building materials and supplies. There's a lot of competition for contracting and contractors, and so probably we need to be smart about the decisions we make to try to avoid those issues, as well as try to get moving as quickly as possible, so that we we're at the top of the list rather than the bottom of the list in terms of acquiring building materials or contracting services. So we'll look forward to the staff coming back with and having another discussion in the next couple of weeks. All right. Anything else on that? If not, then we'll go to item 4, consideration of possible action to approve the annual investment policy for the city of Harlingen.
Motion for approval. I'm sorry.
The Public Funds Investment Act requires us to bring the investment policy on an annual basis for review and approval by the City Commission. So this is our for the period of October 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. And our investment policy includes strategies for investment strategy, investment objectives, responsibility and control, reporting, investment portfolio, section of banks and dealers, safekeeping and control, and investment policy adoption and requirements. We did not make any changes to the investment policy this year. It is a good and strong investment policy, so staff recommends approval of this policy this year.
All right, motion for an approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand, please.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. We'll go to item 5, consideration possible action to authorize city manager to accept an offer of $1,455,190 for the COVID-19 vaccination funding award from the Texas Department of State Health Services.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good evening. This is recommended to allow us to accept an award of a $1,455,190 grant funding that was for COVID-19 vaccination clinics. We intend to utilize this funding as personnel, $400,000, fringe benefits, $91,000, equipment, $201,000, supplies, $85,000, and under others, $677,000, which includes part of the rental of the convention center that we've been utilizing to host vaccination clinics. This is part of the COVID-19 vaccination programs. There was a grant proposal. We submitted a quickly application, and we received the award that we were being considered granted this award. So we're asking that we allow us to accept this award so we can move forward with the contract.
Motion.
That's a tough one.
Second.
Do we want money that doesn't require a match? That's the decision you guys have to make.
All right.
I just wanted to say, Josh, thank you for all your hard work and your staff. Y'all doing a fabulous job, with this COVID vaccines. Thank you for everything you're doing for our community.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would say that Josh and Ana Hernandez, our Special Projects Director, worked on this grant, did a great job putting it together.
Yeah.
Well, we have a motion and a second, I believe, right?
Yes.
Any other discussion? Like Commissioner Ruby said, this is a difficult decision. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Again, to the staff and especially Josh and his team for working on this grant for us, congratulations. It does, I think we deserve it, but I'm prejudiced and biased on that issue. I think our community has done a lot to support the efforts of getting everybody vaccinated and staying healthy, and congratulations. And this shows that this is a recognition of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6, consideration of possible action to reject the single bid received for the reconstruction of one home on behalf of a low to moderate income household at 614 East Madison Avenue.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is an item that we went out for bids. Our department went out for bids for the reconstruction of a home for a low to moderate income family. And we received one bid. Soon thereafter, we received an email from the contractor saying that he had miscalculated on the price, so he was wanting to retract the bid. And so we're bringing this to you now for so that we can reject the bid and we can go out for bids again for the same home.
Motion for approval to reject.
Second from Commissioner De La Rosa. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Consideration and possible action to award the reconstruction of one home on behalf of a low to moderate income household located at 718 East Van Buren to the lowest responsible bidder.
Good evening again. This action item or this item was brought before you the last meeting. But this particular one was, the lowest bidder was another contractor that we did not necessarily realize. But at this time, we would like to ask if we can award this contract to the lowest bidder, which was Rail Transport. We had two contractors that submitted bids for this one, and it was Rail Transport and G&G Contractors, but Rail Transport was the lowest bidder. So we'd like to ask if you would award this contract.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Item 8, consideration and possible action on a meeting format for city commission meetings and other city board meetings in person, continue virtually, or combination of both. Carlos?
Yes, sir, Mayor and Commissioners, good afternoon. City staff over the past few months has made retrofits to the building meeting spaces so that we have safe and sanitized building meeting areas. And so what we've done in conjunction to that, and we've polled several cities around the area to see what they were doing as far as meeting formats. And so there's a mix, and we put that information in as part of your packet. So we're bringing this item again for your consideration and direction as to what format you all would like to move forward with. Same time, we're asking for guidance also, or direction for the other board meetings that also meet on a regular basis, both here at City Hall and other buildings throughout the city.
May I ask, Mayor, your thoughts on that subject?
Well, this kind of came about because some of the other boards would like to resume meeting in person, and I did ask the staff to do a survey of other city councils, and for the most part, other city councils, I think actually the vast majority of them in the Valley are meeting in person, or at least a hybrid. I think you can join by Zoom if you want to, but they are meeting in person. And with the hospitalizations pretty low, they've been very low, and the death rate has gone down significantly. And with a lot more vaccinations, I think I don't know whether a majority of the commission, I think the majority of the commission and staff are probably vaccinated and have achieved immunity. But I think we could try to ease back into it if there's a spike or something in cases. But try to social distance like we did in the beginning when we were continuing live meetings, and see how that goes. And I think some of the other boards want to do that as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. If we meet in person, at least that we separate the chairs like we did in the meeting room, and then have the same downstairs with TV on or something. But if we're going to continue, just to be, I guess, cautious.
Yes, definitely. We'll continue to monitor everything, and if there, if our, I think Dr. Moen is Dr. Moen weighing in on this, Carlos?
I'm not certain, Mayor. I need to check with.
Well, we'll certainly continue to receive his advice. About how we should. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mesmar.
Yeah. A new variant popped up this week that in Kentucky and in Chicago that is not in vaccinated people. So I think we could open up and have meetings, and of course spacing. We still need to be wise and prudent. We need to be fluid and flexible. Some states are seeing spikes. Texas opened up 6 weeks ago and is actually doing rather well. So that's pretty good, and I think we should take advantage of the downtime of the virus, and then we could have a hybrid Zoom and in person, and then we limit attendance because we still need to be safe in seating and such.
That was going to be my question, Mayor. Is you know, I agree with your statement that most of the staff and most of us have already been vaccinated, but how are we going to handle the public side?
Well, I think on the public, we're going to ask the public to wear masks, and we may start out wearing masks and social distance, and spread out, and still stay spread out in the room.
I noticed a video of, I think it was McAllen, that they've actually had the plexis between each commissioner.
Well, if we could try that, if y'all want to do that, that's something that we can that we may be able to do.
Do you need a motion here, Mayor, to have staff, I guess, recommend?
Yeah, I think so. I think we ought to agree as a group. I'd like the group to agree on what they want to do, and so if you'd like to make a motion, Commissioner, that'd be fine.
I'd like to make a motion to at least start off, like Mesmer said, in a hybrid meetings. For those who want to attend, they can, and if you don't feel comfortable,
I'll second that, Frank.
Okay.
All right, and we'll continue. We'll continue to take precautions, but we'll resume live meetings as a hybrid, as the motion stated. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. All right, thank you all for that, and we'll also advise the other boards that the commission is doing that, and invite them to follow suit.
I'd like to just mention that if we're going to get those plexiglasses, I'd like to get measured first.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily saying we need them. I just wanted to know if we had thought of that.
I just want to make sure they're not standard.
Yes, sir. We certainly can look at that.
Okay.
All right. Item 9, consideration of possible action to authorize staff to reopen public buildings for rental in accordance to city ordinances.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Under similar circumstances, again, with the lifting of the restrictions by Governor Abbott on through executive orders, the need or the request for social events or meeting places has come up. We have several reservations in the books. However, we wanted to bring this item before you all for consideration, again, for, I guess, reinstating the practices of renting public or city facilities as we've had in the past. And what we're asking is that if the city council would allow us, we would begin allowing the rental of city buildings in June, starting June the 1st.
And are there any restrictions right now through the guidelines? I mean, like a 25%, 50%, or are we at 100 now?
We are at 100%.
And so it would be up to the person placing the rental?
The rental.
Okay. And is there any provision for us to be, if somebody decides not to, I don't know, never mind.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. Once again, fluid and flexible. Got to see what path the virus takes and what the variants take, and open up, see what happens.
So we're going to be decontaminating all the rooms between meetings, right? So the public can know that they've gone into a place and it's been. Right. Okay. I like it.
We also have some modifications to the HVAC systems that we've installed. So all that will be done between rentals, and of course the HVAC systems are utilized during the rentals. So
Dan, may I ask a question?
Sure.
On the facility itself, for gatherings, are we gonna put any kind of additional charge for the additional cleaning or chemicals that may be used in that in the rental, or is that
No,
how are we gonna?
The fees for the rentals are already established by ordinance, and so we're going to utilize the same rental rates.
Okay, but it does not cost us more money to disinfect or?
We received COVID funds, CARES funds, so that's what we've been acquiring a lot of these chemicals with and the equipment.
Okay.
And that would qualify for the rentals also?
The CARES funds? No, sir.
The CARES funds would not apply towards the rentals?
So just the equipment that we use to disinfect and sanitize.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what are the wishes of the commission?
Motion to reopen our public facilities and everything that's they're recommending.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 10 is the consideration and possible action to authorize the mayor on behalf of the city of Harlingen to accept a new taxi company, Let's Ride Taxi Service, to provide services to the city of Harlingen.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is an application for another taxi service. We only have 2 in the city right now. And Ms. Leticia Alvarez would be the owner-operator of this establishment, and then we'll add taxis as needed. We're recommending approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Item 11, consideration possible action to authorize the mayor on behalf of the city of Harlingen to approve a temporary taxi program allowing approved South Padre Island taxi cabs and taxi cab drivers to discharge and accept passengers within the city limits of Harlingen, to include Valley International Airport.
Mayor, Commissioners, again, this is a request for a temporary 2-year program in order to increase the availability of ride services to the city and to the airport. Basically, what we would do is allow taxis who currently operate and have been approved on South Padre Island to operate inside the city limits of Harlingen. We would also still license them or permit them through the city, but we would waive any fees associated with the permitting at this time for this 2-year period. And we would also take the current City of Harlingen taxi services and waive their fees as well during this period.
Motion for an approval.
Thank you.
There's a second. I have a second to Commissioner Puente. Any other discussion? So, yeah, I think there were some, it's been an issue of, people driving back to our airport, getting back to our airport from South Padre Island, because technically those taxi cabs couldn't operate in the city. So this kind of takes care of that issue and makes it a lot more convenient for people using Valley International Airport. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 12, consideration and possible action on having Freedom Fest Saturday, July 3rd, 2021 at Harlingen Field in the Lonsea Hill Complex.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. I would like to propose that we have the annual Freedom Fest concert at Lonsea Hill Park. We're trying to decide if we're going to do the actual concert at the Harlingen Ball Field that has more open space, or at the new Destination Park, just for the stage requirements of the event. Dr. Moen did say, with the numbers that we have right now, he would allow us to do it.
And if we have to make any changes, will there be a provision in the contract where we've booked these bands and we have to cancel, and You know, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The financial end of it.
We do have some bans still on hold from 2020
Okay.
that, thank you to Allison. She helped me put the COVID clause in there. That way we can continue to postpone them. So there is a clause in the contract that we're currently using for that.
Okay. Then you answered the question. We do have a clause. So
Yes, sir.
Motion to
Motion for
approve.
approval.
Okay, we have a
Second.
motion and a second from Commissioner De La Rosa. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, Freedom Fest 2021.
Thank you.
That's kind of a good sound, you know. Great
Are
to
we gonna have
have.
hot dogs?
Yes,
Yes, we'll
There's
have
gonna be hot dogs.
whatever you want, sir.
Well, I'd like to have a hot dog eating contest.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do it.
And,
Let's do it.
we'll sign.
That's a challenge, Mayor.
You'll be the first one to sign up for it. All right. Again, you know, we temper all this with things can change and we might have to deal with some change, but let's stay positive that we're still heading in the right direction. Okay, next item, last item on the agenda is board appointments. Does anybody have any board appointments?
I have none.
No board appointments? I have none. So with that, brings us to the end of our agenda. We're concluded with our meeting tonight. So I want to wish everybody a good evening and prosperous the rest of the week. And thank you all. Good night. Stay safe.
Yeah.